Saludos amigos, los invitamos a escuchar la mesa redonda de Roundtable, donde discutimos los temas del día, hablando de política, educación y otros temas, locales, regionales y mundiales, por USA la Radio. Señores oyentes de USA la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo con la mesa redonda de Roundtable desde el corazón de Palo Hispano en la ciudad del amor fraternal. Les habla Fernando Mendez en compañía de Dylan al tablero, manejando aquí este asunto que está revolucionario hoy, con la participación de Britt Carpenter. I don't know what happened. How did he get in here? I have no idea.
Security
Very
fail.
Special guest, Shantell Brown and Julie Viera from Viera Vida.
Thank you.
Yay, we're so
Bienvenidas.
happy to be here.
That was a very nice
Welcome.
introduction for the ladies, but you know.
We treat him
But
right.
what?
Well,
But
you
what?
know, I was a security fail.
Well, you,
We saw you pay him to get in.
you're like, yeah, I don't know.
Please, sir, please.
Like Jamie Foxx said, who left the gate open?
Who let the dogs out?
Oh.
Well, that's a good beginning for this. I can see that I have no control over this conversation today. Well, we're going to start from the beginning and begin from the end, too. Because John Bolton, we know who he is, right? He's just made some revelations about Mr. Giuliani. And he called him a live grenade in the government, destructive as he is. And, we'll talk about all this impeachment business, but before we got to this point, we had a long stretch since 2016, since the election. But there were rumors immediately that something was awry with that election. It just, for us, just looking at it from the beginning, it didn't look right that Hillary Clinton had the largest number of votes, more than 3.5 million, and she didn't win. So that, a lot of people, for people who have a very basic understanding of politics and the voting and all that, in most elections, the people with the most votes win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened here?
Electoral College.
Yeah, that's what did it.
Yep, and the Electoral College is there to protect some of the smaller states that have no power and no say. But in this case, it was sort of upside down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were discussing this. We wanted to know if, maybe a system where if the Electoral College failed us that drastically, after so many millions of votes, after maybe even 1 million votes, when does it become...
Something to be revisited.
Right.
Like, how do we handle this?
Maybe after a
Exactly.
certain number?
Because what is scary is that there were reports in 2018 looking back at the vote and with more sophisticated means at looking at where the places were where the votes were made a big difference in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, that even if that Trump could win again, even if he lost by 5 million,
5 million.
how is that possible? So at what point, as you say, at what point do we discount the Electoral College vote? Because 10 million? What if 10 million is the margin of victory for
5 million is a heck of a margin. That should
Right.
not even, that's not even something to consider.
Right.
There's something that seriously went wrong there. And that, I think, is what brought us to where we are today.
Exactly.
Because that's what everybody's trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure anybody has figured that out yet.
And we're also in a different place, right?
Yeah,
like when the
it's the same
electoral college was made, there was less migration between states. There was not social media. It really needs to be revisited just based off of that before the millions of votes are
That's
counted.
right. So something is wrong with the system, and it's being brought to the surface now with this, because you cannot hide from that fact.
Right.
That there was this huge difference in the general vote, and yet, the loser wins.
In the popular vote.
In the
won.
popular
Right,
vote.
right,
Which sort of
So-
scares me, too.
Mm-hmm.
That was the popular vote,
Yeah,
right.
I know.
I can't wrap my head around this. Each and every day that something new surfaces, I can't wrap my head around this.
Okay, one of the things that has become evident, and then let's look at a couple of things. One of them is that there was, and this was in the Mueller report, has been reported by the intelligence agencies, and it has been revived now with this investigation into Giuliani and Ukraine and all that. The Russians interfered.
Right.
I saw something on CNN. I don't know if it was apocryphal or it was real, that there were Russian intelligence people celebrating when they saw the vote and they saw that Trump won.
Yeah.
They said, "We got it." That was what they were. They were saying, "In fact, we did it."
Wow.
So, I don't know
I didn't even
how
hear
anybody
about
knows
piece.
that, or yes, but if that is true, then it's like one more piece of evidence. What else do we need? We've been accumulating, especially the Mueller report.
Right.
From my point of view, what Mueller did was he put all these things together over the long period of his investigation at a huge cost of money and all that. And he said to Congress, "Here it is. It's not my responsibility
Right.
to prosecute, to impeach, to do, but here is at least 10 things where you can see obstruction of justice, when you see interference,
Right.
where you see Mr. Trump meeting with the Russian ambassador the day after he fired Comey and saying, 'Oh, I got rid of Comey now, no problem.'"
And then they tried to say that the Mueller report exonerated him.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Republican conversation didn't really include all of the evidence that was alluded to.
That's another point that when we talk about the personalities in this administration, we're going to talk about William Barr, because he actually exonerated the
Right.
president. Not Mueller. His report did the complete opposite.
Right.
But this guy got a 400-page report, and he put it in 4 pages, saying, it says that we didn't do anything wrong, that Trump didn't do anything wrong, that there was no interference,
Right.
that therefore the president should be re-electable.
And what's even more interesting to me is this is the most turnover we've ever seen in any administration. There are so many people that have come and gone.
Yeah.
And that has been more than in my 50 years of life that I've seen. That's a lot.
I saw a stat that within his first year, he had already exceeded that.
That's crazy.
Right.
And this is the leader of our country.
Right.
Scary.
Also, so delete Facebook was trending last night because Facebook has had a big play in the ad targeting and the news and the false information that they were putting out there. And it's like even more information came out about the information that they were selling. This just came out yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this came into light a little while ago.
Right. And it's like something new now that's even
Zuckerberg
worse.
actually stuck up for that. He went to bat for that and explained all
The
how
algorithm and
the
how the
algorithm, yeah.
bots
Oh
were
my
able
gosh.
to create their own presence.
Yeah. Well, that's not true.
Right. So they're trying to do this program on Facebook now where you're able to combat fake news, and my issue with that is what algorithms are determining what is fake news versus real news, because a lot of us, especially all the people in this room, are creators, and we're having our engagement and our profits impacted because of what some corporations allowed happen. And so at the end of the day, we are always losing. The 99%, we're the ones losing.
It's unbelievable. I like to take a look at some of the personalities that have been in this administration from the beginning. And you know how much trouble he's had with his press secretaries
Right.
from day one. And with his attorney general. Let's remember who started with him. Jeff Sessions.
Oh, gosh.
And then all of a sudden Jeff Sessions became unacceptable. Why? Do we remember why Jeff Sessions was all of a sudden on the hot seat with Mr. Trump?
Didn't he not show up? Oh, I'm trying to... What happened with Sessions?
It had to
You have
do,
to remind us.
It had to do with the FBI, with the prosecution of he wanted Comey
Oh,
off the island.
yeah.
He wanted him fired.
And he recused him.
He recused himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Sessions did. He did not want to be involved in this, and he has good reason. I mean,
Right.
he knew what
Right.
could happen.
And by recusing himself, he couldn't vouch for the president.
Right. So who was in charge then of Comey and deciding what to do? Rob Rosenstein,
Oh, yeah.
and see what happened to him too. So, like, he inspired trust at the beginning. He looked like a more serious person, more put together, like a real lawman. He seemed responsible. So, like, wow, I'm glad Sessions is out and let this guy take care of it. All of a sudden, he wrote a letter to justify the firing of Comey. So I was like, what happened here? So I thought the bad guy is the one who set himself aside, and now the bad guy is.
Well, that's just another example of some people aren't as good as their interview. You know, people come into it up front and, you know, they wow you and they impress you, and all of a sudden they do that 180, and it's like, where did you come from? Where is all this happening?
Right.
I mean, let's face it, they're all puppets.
Right.
You know, they're all puppets. is
Yeah,
all I
that's
would
how
say.
Fernando said you got in this room, right?
Exactly. Oh, hold on a second.
Hey, you sipping that tea, Britt?
Okay. Wait till you see the picture I put up of you next.
I didn't say that.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
I'm outnumbered here. I'm the minority here.
Feel.
How does it feel? Oh my gosh. Here, just rip this Band-Aid off real quick.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
they're quick, man. So you be careful.
They are.
Be careful.
And there's only 2 of them here, so that's, I'm scared.
Anyway, so going back to the topic at hand.
I was
So
going to drink my juice.
one of the problems for James Comey is that he had made a bad mistake, and we'll talk about that in the other segment about what he did that contributed to the defeat of Hillary Clinton was that letter.
Right.
Where I don't understand what the purpose of that letter was. Was it to clarify the situation, to actually hurt Hillary, to help Trump? Why would he be doing that? Was that nobody actually knows why he did it? People who knew him never thought he had bad intentions by doing that. That he was acting what he was saying what he believed it was the right thing to do,
Right.
because he was one of those very strict
Like
FBI
upstanding guy.
agents. So we don't know if that's true. All we know is that it really hurt Hillary. It put the whole thing in a bad light. And then we'll talk on the other side of this brief pause. We're going to talk about Hillary. And I mean, was she the best possible candidate? What was the problem there? I mean, what? Because how come women didn't come out and vote? Here we have the most
I think you just
ideal,
answered it yourself right there.
What-
You know?
one of the most intelligent, well-trained bureaucrats, civil servant that we had, and why was she not electable? So let's find out. On the other side of this brief pause, estamos en Usa la Radio, la mesa redonda. Les habla Fernando Mendez, Dylan al tablero. Estamos con Britt Carpenter y 2 personalidades de Viera Vida. Estamos con
Shantell and Julie.
Shantell y Julie. Regresamos en un momento.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it.
Thank you, Ms. Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Because of you, I feel not alone in this world. And you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Señores oyentes de Uso de la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda de Roundtable desde el corazón del barrio hispano, en la ciudad del amor fraternal. Estamos aquí en una discusión muy interesante con Shantell Brown, Julie Viera de Viera Vida y Britt Carpenter. Les habla Fernando Mendez. Estamos con Dylan al tablero y estamos discutiendo qué pasó en el 2016. What happened in 2016? And now we want to talk about, was Hillary Clinton the best candidate? And did she lose because she was not qualified? Or did she lose because of all the shenanigans the Republicans and the Russians and everybody played against her?
Or a little of both, maybe.
Or her thinking that she was just the shoo-in.
Right.
Like, they didn't really have to do too much. This is going to be an easy win. Sometimes you're going a little too confident. And
Well,
she
we all thought
underestimated.
Trump was a joke.
Very true.
We all did. I mean,
Very
that
true.
was, but honestly, she honestly did think that she was the shoo-in. She
Right.
thought that this was, you know,
She didn't have
hers.
to do the actual
exactly.
work, like to visit every place that she needed to visit and actually
Right.
get to all those
Get
places.
on the doors early.
Yeah.
Right.
But that was the assessment later when she failed to visit was it Wisconsin. And she didn't go at all.
Right.
And
She was trying to live off her name, is what she was
Right.
doing.
And Pennsylvania was taken for granted because Philadelphia was like 100% for her, but the rest of the state, not so much.
That was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, it's always a battleground state, but wow, I didn't expect it to be such a
Yeah, well,
landslide.
from outside of here is
It's a lot of blue collar.
It's Alabama.
Yeah, it's
you know,
Yeah.
Kentucky, Pennsylvania.
Kentucky.
Yeah, everything in the middle, you know. So you got all those working class people,
Mm.
and you know all those people, the farmers, and everybody who is against
Right.
her views and the way she wanted to bring things into light.
Yeah.
You know, she targeted Philly. That was it. That was her big cheering section.
Yeah.
That was her big hurrah here in Pennsylvania. The rest of PA was not interested in her.
Yeah,
What
but now 2018 seemed to indicate that there's a possibility that we're not all like,
Right.
it's not all one color up there and it's only blue on this side. So,
Yeah, the midterms were really great for us, I think.
so that helped.
Why do you think, though, that Hillary wasn't the candidate that they elected, that was elected?
I think she was the best candidate the Democrats had at the time. I absolutely believe she's one of the best candidates
You don't think Bernie
ever
had held any water there?
No. Bernie, then or now, I don't think he can
questionable.
win in this country. And I love his ideas. I
Right.
mean, who doesn't want a fair system, you know, equal treatment for everybody, free this, free that? Oh, I would love that society. That's Norway. I'd like to live in this nirvana, but that doesn't exist, and it's not possible. It's not realistic. He's never going to go, and he's never going to get elected on that. So it's not that I dislike him. I think he's got great ideas. Elizabeth Warren is also worrisome because of that. She's got some of the ideas a little bit loony. So I don't know. There's not going to
Yeah,
be free
can't
education.
be much worse than what we have in office right now.
There's not going to be free education. Except that what we have in office is what sells, because this guy is the best salesman. And he can sell that agenda, no matter how stupid it seems to us. The people who are buying it, the people who are drinking the Kool-Aid, they are following Reverend Jones into whatever is going to happen at the end. And this guy is a salesman. Whatever you can say about this guy, he knows how to sell. I don't
Businessman.
think he's a genius, as he calls himself, like a stable genius.
Right.
I don't think so.
He's a
There
reality
is-
TV star.
He's a TV star, okay? And there is something about him that it has that charisma that is misapplied, that is the devil selling his magic elixir. So there's something about him, and he's able to do that. It doesn't mean that it's right, just because he can get across his insane policies that he's doing to his people. He's in the defensive now, and what we have seen is that his attack from him, from Giuliani, from Pompeo, from almost anybody in the administration is undermine the credibility of anybody, the
Right.
courts, the Congress, the Senate, the
media.
media. We are the enemy of the people. The media has become the enemy of the people. Like, are you kidding me? So that's his tactic right now. We'll see what happens. But I want to go a little bit in reverse about the colorful personalities who were at the White House. Press secretaries. One of my pet peeves was to see Sarah Huckabee come out and lie to the press every day.
She wasn't even a good liar.
No, not at all.
She was so transparent. It was easy to see that she was lying, that she was just spouting whatever they told her that morning. This is what we're gonna. This is the line for the day. Just repeat this. Trump is great. And keep going with that, no matter what they ask you. But the president sold his soul to Putin. It doesn't matter. The president is a great president. He's the best one we have had in this country ever. Anyway, so no matter what they asked her, that's her response. She had a pet answer for everything.
Well, wasn't it under her tenure that the Sinclair broadcast had gone out where all of the, especially right-wing media, had this specific script?
They were given the script. This is what you're supposed to say.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of that, look what happened to Fox. All of a sudden, it's like Fox has become like
The enemy.
the enemy.
Absolutely.
They kind of always were, but
They were, but on a different level to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were sort of the enemy against people like us, you know? And now all of a sudden it's turning a little bit. And I woke up one morning and I was reading something and I had to read it like 3 times to make sure it wasn't like The Onion, like poking fun at, and that it was actually Fox who was taking a stance, that they were you know.
Wow.
But they're coming out now with, you know,
Yes, and
Guns ready.
one of the main anchors just quit, in disgust with all the policies at Fox. And so that Fox is no longer a mouthpiece for Trump.
no.
So very slowly, his ability to sell his philosophy, whatever you call it, has been reduced because he lost a big platform. Fox is not his platform anymore. So what he's doing, and what he's done from the beginning, we know he's used Twitter. That is his outlet. And now we can see his mood, because he's really angry. It's all capital letters. It's all uppercase. You know, the Democrats are trying to take away democracy. They are
can see his
destroying
fear.
I
this
wish they
country.
took his phone away a long time ago, but at the same time, I'm glad he kept his phone because it allowed us to continue to see
Right.
this stuff coming out of his mind.
Right, that is the dilemma, right? We would like this idiot not to have a phone. And yet, we need it, because now the only way we know what he's thinking is because he tells us.
Right.
He tells us everything.
Right.
imagine his staff every time they see him pick up his phone, they're probably like, no, what's going to happen?
But I'm not quite sure the staff is like that, because they're all about like, hey, whatever. We support this man. You know, we're behind him.
That's scary.
That's what I wonder. How long working for him can you actually drink the Kool-Aid or try to act like
I don't
everything's
know.
fine?
Look at they're all gone.
Right.
Sean Spicer, Scaramucci. How long was Scaramucci
Right.
there? 7
Oh
days?
my gosh! And now, 7 days, and now he's all over the TV,
I know.
like, you know, talking. You know, he's talking down on him.
like
big
a
There's
time.
like
Kardashian
corruption
wedding.
everywhere.
Yeah.
We know that, but like, how much can you like take as far as like, oh, there's corruption, but then there's just Trump level, and it's like I don't know how far above it I'm gonna go. Like,
Until
when you're
it
in that
affects
spot-
them, though. That's what's
True.
so sad. And
True.
it seems like a commonality within these, like, lifetime politicians where it's like, until you specifically have to do something you don't want to do, you don't speak up.
or if it's not benefiting.
Right.
Right.
And right now
Yeah.
they're umbrellaed under him, and they're
Right.
sort of protected by
Right.
him. So they're okay with that. And it cracks me up because every time I see them on TV standing behind him and he's speaking, they're smiling. I'm thinking to myself, how can you be smiling?
Vaseline. They must be using the pageant trick to keep their face. It has to be.
That's what it is.
And it
I
has
can't
to be.
figure it out. You know,
Like-
that smile. It's either one of those like, I am that stupid that I'm standing up here,
Right.
or Vaseline.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Like I
Scary.
said.
On the topic of personalities who served him, and some of them were very respectable people
Right.
who just hit a wall when they they joined his administration. Their careers when came to an end,
Right.
at least politically, and as people who could accomplish something. Rex Tillerson, I really lament his. He must regret having quit. He was the CEO of Exxon, one of the biggest industries in the world, and he was a respectable business person. All of a sudden, it's like Trump makes him look like an idiot. He called Trump a moron, and then he denied that he'd done it, but it was already
did.
Right.
he did. But his one personality. The generals, from Flynn, who actually went to prison for lying, McMaster, John Kelly, all these people who had careers, who had legitimate claims to accomplishments, and all of a sudden they are discredited because their name is linked to Trump.
Maybe they believed that, so some of the arguments that I've been hearing is, oh, he's not presidential. We want somebody who's going to come in and change this system and this machine, and we're tired of government, so we want to change. So maybe they too believed whatever he was selling. I don't know. Like, why? What would, like you said, to leave a position to go under this administration?
But see, these are men that that are in these positions because
they know what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah,
there's somewhat intelligence there to them. So like, what really led them away from that to go astray?
Maybe they all thought they were really untouchable.
Well, remember, there's been a
This could be
shift
it.
that happened. This is new, that going to the White House isn't something that is super reputable, isn't something that's going to boost your career. Every other person who goes to the White House before this administration, it's like, wow, you worked in the White House? Wonderful, you're promoted. This is a new thing. This isn't something that happened before.
It was something good on your resume. You want to highlight it and put in red color.
100%.
Like, look at this.
Now you can go anywhere.
Now you can just take it right off your LinkedIn, take it off your resume because it's no good.
Yeah, we have a Hispanic personality, Mickey Cantor, who worked for the Clinton administration. And he's benefited from that. He's been writing books and lecturing and all that because he was connected to the White House. And that's, as far as I know, that's his main claim to fame. But so if you can do that, that's great.
That's a large claim to fame for people.
But absolutely. But not in this administration. This is it's shame. Like you want to take
circus
that
show.
Well,
delete that from the resume.
Oh, Britt, what's going on
no,
here?
I think back to
why is there a gap in your resume here?
Where were you?
You weren't working from this time. I was a stay-at-home dad.
Right.
I look at Scaramucci and I look at somebody like him and like 7 days
Seven
and
days.
he's gone.
Yeah.
But like, was that strategically planned by him? Like, this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm throwing my hands up, and that's it? Because he's making
Because
a
now
fortune
people
off this as
remember
well,
who
too.
he is. Right.
You
You have to
know,
be tactical about it.
very
appears.
tactical.
Yeah.
Most of them have become these television personalities that speak out against him. So they're on all these talk shows. They're on all these broadcasts.
Omarosa, who was on his apprentice.
Please, eye roll.
That woman.
She was shame.
Major eye roll.
Listen, she goes by one name. That's all I got to say.
Ok, señores oyentes, estamos llegando al final de este segmento aquí en Usa la Radio, la Mesa Redonda. Les habla Fernando Mendez en compañía de Dylan al tablero. Britt Carpenter está con nosotros y tenemos dos distinguidas damas, Shantell Brown y Julie Viera. Ellas son de Viera Vida. Y estamos hablando sobre, bueno, es una retrospectiva de esta administración. No se vayan, regresamos en un momento.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Señores oyentes de USA la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda de Roundtable desde el corazón del barrio hispano en la ciudad del amor fraternal. Les habla Fernando Mendez en compañía de Dylan al tablero. Britt Carpenter está con nosotros, igualmente Shantell y Julie Viera de Viera Vida. Estamos hablando sobre la administración Trump desde el principio hasta dónde vamos hoy y a dónde vamos a llegar. Está difícil el asunto, ¿no? Bueno, estábamos hablando sobre las personalidades que han servido en esta administración, desde los secretarios de prensa hasta los generales que tuvieron que marcharse por una razón u otra o porque los despidió el señor Trump, pero gente que era responsable y seria, pero que ya no están en su administración, cuando todo el mundo creía que mientras ellos estuvieran ahí, John Kelly era su chief of staff, que hubiera podido proteger al pueblo de las barbaridades que ha hecho este presidente. So, that was my brief summary of where we are. We're talking about how the people who left because and they saw their careers destroyed. Mm-hmm. So, there are other people who have remained and who have done more damage, helping Mr. Trump to do what he does. We already mentioned William Barr. So, what is he about? Why is Barr doing what he does? Nobody understands how this man, who had a great reputation before he became his attorney general, how William Barr ended up being an acolyte of Trump and a defender and a protector, and he sold his soul to the devil. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who summarized the Mueller report and did a great damage because that sort of nullified months of investigation, and it gave Trump an out, and it made it difficult for Congress, for the people who wanted to prosecute Trump to even get started, because once a lie, we know that you tell a lie, you tell it many times, it sort of becomes,
like start believing it.
And how can you take that back? How can we destroy that? It was a lie to begin with. Like that's what Trump has been doing with Biden.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, and especially with his son. I mean,
his son.
I watched that special report where he denied it, and as cool as could be, and you looked at the guy and you think to yourself, he's not lying.
Right.
There's no lies coming out of his mouth, but yet Trump has been defaming him since day one, and it's getting bad.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
And the son just gave an interview, a serious interview,
Yeah.
That's probably the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where he states all this stuff. He's like, there's nothing there. And he said, if my dad becomes president, I'll quit anything that would embarrass him. So,
Unlike Trump's sons.
Unlike Trump's sons, yeah. Well, the whole family is.
Yeah, the whole
family is all about. What is the profit in this? Well, how am I going to?
How weird was it when his daughter was basically living the first lady life?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she was out of the public eye right away.
Yeah.
A little creepy.
Weird.
A little creepy.
Yeah, and right now with the scandal, you don't see them so much anywhere, right?
No. And he has that one daughter you never even hear of.
No.
Right, Tiffany?
Yeah.
The one he doesn't like, she was there, and then after he became president,
she was there, and then she's gone.
Well,
Nothing.
The rumor is that
I just want to hug her.
The rumor is he could not identify her in a crowd.
Right.
Oh, come on.
I believe it.
Brett, I thought you were going to exit stage left.
Either that or he was hitting on her. Who knows?
Oh, boy. Well, he hit on the other one. He's like,
Ivanka.
Yeah,
I think that's why she might have disappeared, because he wasn't. Never mind. Stop.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The tea's getting hot in here.
Okay, now we turn into a gossip column here. It's a serious program.
Yes.
Very. Of course, yeah.
Straight in
and these guests are the perfect ones for that.
Exactly. serious all day, all night.
Oh my!
All day.
I lost control.
You have. So, ladies, what's up?
Well,
Britt, thanks for having us today.
Oh, you got it. Thanks for joining me. I'm happy. Fernando, same for you. Thanks for coming
yeah,
in.
thanks for coming. It's so sweet to have you here.
He can't rebound.
It's a coup d'etat.
Exactly.
Yeah, so today we're talking about the personalities in the White House. And
Yes.
Well, that's, talk about the personalities. They're all very similar to him.
Right.
These personalities,
And if
they're all
not-
fueled by, ego.
Yeah.
Total ego. That's what I see in the White
Ego
House.
and economics.
Yeah. And that's it. There's not a very well-rounded group of people in the White House. That's for sure.
not the ones that last.
Yeah,
Birds of a
I find that
feather.
annoying. He claims that I have a big brain. I'm a genius, and
Very smart
I
and
know from the beginning. I know words.
Phenomenal.
I know words.
I know words. I know words. I know all the words.
Let me show you on Twitter.
And he is the clumsiest
Yes.
speaker ever.
Yeah.
He can only use a few of them, and they all have to do with. It's the greatest economy in the history of this country.
Huge.
The greatest president is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's very, our stuff was
It's
very
huge.
bad. It was a very bad storm.
I mean,
It's
but
bad.
I was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And about this woman who testified against him, who was an ambassador, he says, I heard very bad things about her, but you couldn't say what.
Very bad.
Like,
Very
what
bad.
did
They
you
were
hear?
very bad, though.
Exactly. Everything.
What did you hear? No, very bad things. Very
Yeah.
bad things. That's why she had to come back to. She's justified.
And it's fine if your vocabulary is not that big, but when you're a bully and your vocabulary is not that big, when you have like this complex, like you're the best and the greatest in the world, and your vocabulary is not that big, it's just like, sir, can you just quiet down a little
You
bit?
have no tools to
Right,
defend yourself.
right,
You lack.
yeah.
But if people knew him prior to this and they even watched his reality show, The Apprentice,
They
you would
would
know. You would know he was a bully.
Yeah.
You would know that his vocabulary only, is a few words.
Yeah.
I wonder if they thought it was an act.
I don't know.
Because I thought he was reputable. Honestly, before he started running for office, before any of this, I thought that, cool, businessman, reputable, he has a show, maybe he's being funny there. I didn't know that he was the beast that he is.
Well, and the rumors from the White House are his staff would present him with very small list of things because he did
can't
not
handle
want
it
to
all.
list to read a long document. So everything was the briefing every day was really brief because he could not read, he could not stay with it. Also, they were hiding things that he was supposed to. He would give an order that he wanted something done, and they would avoid that. They would hide the document. And when he was not seeing, he would remove the document so he couldn't. He forgot about it all of a sudden. Who knows how many people were saved by forgetting that he was going to invade Libya or something.
Yeah. And that makes me really angry inside, like to know that, like, sir, you're taking this office and this seat as a joke. Well, maybe he doesn't think he's taking it as a joke, but to me, it's like, you're running the free world.
I mean, I have
Like,
an
this
issue
is a
with
big
it.
position.
From the perspective of just a
Starting
citizen,
wars and, yeah,
you
like-
have to have experience. Like, I want to be the supervisor of Kentucky Fried Chicken. I need to have professionalism and I need to have experience. He had neither, and now he's the president. I don't see how that works.
I was in Vegas prior to him being elected when he was running, and I was on one of the trams, and there was a couple there. It was just me and this other couple, and they're from Canada, and the couple looked at me and they said, "What do you think about your election?" And they giggled. And I'm sitting there and thinking to myself, here's people from other countries laughing at me because I'm in the United States and this man is running for president. Now he's elected. Can you imagine what they're saying now?
I have the same experience when we went to Europe after. Yeah. Oh, how's Trump doing? Right. In Italy, in London, Paris. Like,
everybody.
They look at us like we're a joke.
Right.
And that's a shame because we were one of the most respected countries for a long
Took our
time.
Credibility and just
we had so many credible people that were controlling this, running this country, that were in office, that were making things happen. Now he's made us a laughing stock.
Yeah.
And he's okay with that. Any self-respecting man would not be okay with that.
No.
Right.
No, but he claims that he's made America great.
He's delusional.
His claim is, look, here's the irony of what he's done, that we have the biggest army and the strongest army in the world, and our armed forces have no comparison, blah, blah, blah. And yet, this is a moment in history where we are the least influential, the least powerful.
Mm-hmm.
We have no credibility anywhere. Why? Well, think about the treaties that he's canceled. Removed us from the Paris Climate Agreement, NAFTA, NATO, the Trans-Pacific Agreement. He instituted tariffs against China, and saying that we were going to benefit from that, that China was going to pay for that.
Yeah.
When
does that
when
ever work?
every economist keeps telling us we are paying for that because we're paying more money for all the products
Right.
that he put tariffs
Right.
on.
Exactly.
What scares me is, going into 2020, we still have people who are behind him.
Yes.
We have people that are like Trump for re-election.
Voted for him once,
yeah.
not vote again. Yeah.
That scares me.
Yeah.
Like, where is this country going, and how can we really rebound at this point?
Well, I have faith in that. I think we eventually a leader will emerge to save us from this debacle.
Do you think Biden could be that leader?
I think Biden.
I do.
Biden has the possibility of doing that. I don't see anybody else on the. I'm sorry to say, the candidates are not that strong. The strongest one is Pete
Sort of like
Buttigieg,
Viera.
and he's the least experienced of
Yeah.
them in terms of national government.
We talked
He's a
about
mayor
that.
of the town.
Like we
No?
like some of the policies that some of the candidates have, but we need to be like Trump. Like, so it's like we need the strongest. Like we've definitely talked about that, where it's like we want to hear what some of them have to say, some of the policies they want to bring in, but at the same time, it's like we might just need Biden to.
I see a strong ticket if we get Biden to select somebody like Kamala Harris.
Right.
That would be a good ticket.
Yep.
She's a very believable and strong candidate. Her questions during some of the interrogations in the Senate, very well
she's
targeted,
articulate.
very clear, very
Yeah.
articulate.
She's sharp.
So yeah,
She's very sharp.
So she's very well liked. She's popular. Will be a great team.
Well, I also think, let's face it, Biden has a reputation. He spent,
Right.
8 years,
Right.
in
Obama
office
administration,
under
yeah.
the Obama
And
administration.
they're one of the best governments.
And
we
there
had.
was no taint. There was
No,
no blemish.
nothing.
There was a perfect record.
Right.
He's probably the one that I would say can bring us out of this.
I think so.
Make it happen.
And
I hope.
He really understands the battleground states and their importance. He's
Yes.
already out there. He's already, he has his offices even here in Philly.
Yes, he does.
And it's just, we need somebody who's forward thinking like that.
I just hope he stays healthy. I mean, look what happened to
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
That's scary, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
never
big
know
age
with those
difference, though,
things.
between, I think, Biden and Bernie Sanders.
Well,
isn't
Bernie's,
there?
Right.
one thing that one of Biden's staffers told me is that Biden always takes the stairs, always, even if there's an elevator. He,
You go,
takes care of
Joe.
his health. So I'm just.
I know you're talking about. Shout out to her.
Shout outs.
Inside info.
Yeah.
Jeez, I want to take the elevator
Julie
here
has the
sometimes.
inside info.
Those stairs are killer.
I looked up on true story. I'm so sorry. I know it's serious. It's a serious show. Fernando. I know. I'm so sorry.
I love your Fernando face.
But I walked up the stairs on the way in, and I looked up for a second. I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." I almost tripped.
I took
Keep
a break.
Your eyes on the stairs.
I took a video. I'm taking a break before I go up these stairs to talk with Fernando. Literally.
Yes.
Kidding. I take one breath and I go for it.
Well, I got out of an Uber where he was braking hard. I couldn't even walk at this time.
Yeah.
I'm like Shelley Winters in the Poseidon Adventure going.
So
Watch a TV
Biden
show,
might
TV
take
show.
the elevator here too if we had one.
No, Biden is the real deal. He takes the stairs everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everywhere.
people, you just kill another 10 minutes of valuable
right.
time.
I knew we could do it. I knew we could do it.
We reached the end of this segment aquí en Usa la Radio. Les habla Fernando Mendez en compañía de Dylan Altablero, Britt Carpenter. He's taking over the show aquí. And,
We'll be right back.
Shantell and Julie de Viera Vida. Regresamos en un momento.
Mending all those broken hearts and tending to those crying faces.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Señoras y oyentes de Usa la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo en la mesa redonda de Roundtable desde el corazón del barrio hispano en la ciudad del amor fraternal. Les habla Fernando Mendez. Estamos aquí en compañía de don Britt Carpenter, quien está tratando de transformar un coup d'etat, tomando control de mi programa. Pero estamos en buena compañía porque están Shantell y Julie de Viera Vida. Y estamos hablando sobre la administración de Trump. Y ahora, so now people, let's, this is the last segment, so let's talk about a couple of things. We already said that Biden might be the best candidate. Among other things, because he knows the hell of a lot more than Trump or anybody in his administration about foreign policy. And that's one of those very important elements in this administration. And so he needs to restore credibility for the U.S.
Yep.
Mr. Trump has destroyed whatever respect the world had for the United States. So Biden has a very difficult task ahead. Here's a question for the distinguished panel. Thinking of personalities, I mean, Biden obviously will be the principal player in that case, but who else would you think could do foreign policy that would help us restore faith in this country? Who has the charisma, the personality that all of a sudden the world says, wow, look at this
Kamala.
guy. Huh?
I think Kamala. First off,
okay,
so in terms of personality, yes, she commands a room. I've been told that her staff respects her, which that's, a paradigm shift when it comes to these administrations. But she is very open about doing research. She doesn't act like she knows everything. I've seen her in interviews say, I'm going to figure that out. I'll get back to you. And that's what we need. I think we need someone who doesn't know it all yet, but if they do, what they know, they apply it in different ways. I like Kamala, and I want to say Warren.
You do? Why Warren?
Warren has a good understanding of, again, I hate to say, but these career politicians are the ones that we need to fix the system. We're not looking for a bunch of change. We're not looking for, this projection. We're looking for people who understand how the system works and puts it back together.
And I agree. I mean, I think Warren is a really good candidate. I think, Kamala is as well, but I think Warren's a little better just because of the experience. I think, Kamala, very, very fresh, a little wet behind the ears still a little bit, but honest, giving truthful answers like you said. I'll find out that answer. I think Warren actually is probably one of my tops.
We could send her to the UN, for instance.
Yeah.
And be okay with sending her there,
I just don't think she balances Biden in the same way, because I'm still thinking of a VP right now. I don't think she balances Biden in the same way that Kamala would to appease the different demographics around, that Biden kind of misses.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, in some position, a person, and this is thinking outside the box, bring people from the other party. Condoleezza Rice, bring Mitt Romney.
Oh.
Okay.
And put them to work in one of those positions. We have to restore with big personalities.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
That really will have an impact, and people we can respect. And so I can see those two names. I'm sure there's a...
Well, you said Mitt Romney. I didn't even think of that. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Because I think he's, there's been so much, other things happening in the news that it's been so quiet there.
Right.
Why would you say that? What makes you say that?
Because he, remember, he has the presence. I think he has the stage presence. He looks like a leader. And so I would be happy to have him represent the U.S. At the UN or anywhere as an ambassador someplace. But I think I would invite him to be. I'm thinking,
sense.
because I have read recently, I'm reading, there's a great book about how Lincoln put his cabinet together, and it's called a team of rivals.
Okay.
And what he did, he brought people from both parties into and really people who would oppose him and fight him all the way, but who were very strong and creative and strong leaders that he could put in the cabinet. So,
And you know what? That takes security in terms of, and I'm talking just in terms of personality that
Be
Trump didn't
self-assured.
have. Right. Confidence.
As an Afro-Latina, I have to say, the black community is not really feeling Harris too much.
No.
Not feel because of her because when she was a prosecutor, they're not really feeling
record.
certain.
I say because of her background.
Yeah,
I can
her
see
background.
that.
Yeah.
But
So
I,
we really want to bring and I'm not against her as a VP either. But I'm hoping whoever we have on that ticket, people just come out and vote. Like, this is what we need, even if you're not.
do you think that would be a big swaying of their vote?
I question that only because so many people. So then we know that so many people also stayed home in the last election, right?
Right.
Because they weren't really feeling Clinton. Even though she won the popular vote, there was still a lot of people not feeling her, and they definitely weren't voting for Trump.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a good question.
Shantell, the balance there is that Biden is extremely popular
Right.
in the
Right.
black
Right.
community. So
Right.
That's true.
I think they will respect the fact that this is who you chose to be your mate.
Yeah.
We will support you.
Right. And while I'm hearing a lot of them say, oh, we're not for Harris because of her track record, they're also saying whoever gets on that ticket,
Right.
we're voting for them.
We need to.
At this point, we
Yeah.
need to vote.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the Democrats, what I'm saying is the Democrats in this campaign, they cannot play nice. They cannot play by the rules in boxing, one of the marquee rules in boxing. No, this is a fight. You fight dirty because they're not going to be nice. The Republicans are not going to be nice.
No.
So maybe Biden will stay out, don't get into the mud, but everybody around him should get into that fight and say, this is not a clean sport at this point. And you need the Democrats to come out and fight.
Well, I think the big flaw that we have in the progressive community is a lack of understanding of, I think, digital ads.
Yes,
And
that's what I was thinking.
Aside from priorities or, a few groups, there's nobody really focusing on the power that these ads have and how to target them properly and how to create these different target audiences. And until you educate people on doing that, then it doesn't matter what you do on the doors because this amplifies your message. This makes sure that you're having a conversation at the door and you're following it up with whatever issues that you want to be talking about instead of just having one conversation and then having that conversation forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest issue we're having right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, the Democrats cannot play nice in this election. And I'm concerned, and everybody's concerned about the interference of Russia again. And guess what? Mitch McConnell has bills on his desk that would protect the vote. And they died because he's not willing to do anything to protect us. So he's one of the persons that he needs to go in the next election, no matter what happens. Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe and MSNBC calls him Moscow Mitch, and for a good reason. This guy is doing the job of Putin. He's like, here, the door is open. Don't worry about it. No security, whatever you want to do with the vote. And it's a lot of scandal about that. And also, remember that we have a problem in this city with the voting machines. There's a bit of a scandal about the money and how it was used and how it was modernized and so on.
Which that in itself is a little bit scary.
I know.
That here we are.
There's
This
suppression
is,
still, in our own country.
In our own country. And, we're having such issues with elections. And
Right. You saw what happened in Florida during the midterms.
yeah, it's not good.
Florida has always had problems. Remember?
Al Gore.
Even Bush,
with the hanging Chad and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Unbelievable.
I think one thing that I'm taking from this administration is that we have to be proactive in thinking about not just the president, thinking about the cabinet. One of our main issues, especially in Pennsylvania, when you knock on the door, it's a conversation. Everyone is saying education. Well, Betsy DeVos isn't my key player when it comes to education.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
why aren't we thinking about that too? And how do we get people to think about, local elections and how that leads to a stronger administration?
I know. Remember Rick Perry? He wanted to eliminate, but actually he couldn't remember. He said, "There's one more cabinet I want to eliminate, but I can't remember. It was education is the one."
I can't remember what Trump told me.
Yeah.
What was that script again? Like, outline.
To eliminate the education, but he couldn't remember it. But speaking of, there are two things that are primordial for whoever becomes president. Immigration policy, reform of immigration, true reform, not what they are doing right now, which is insane. Obviously, that needs to be arranged. And education.
And healthcare. I would add
Education.
one more.
Yeah.
Definitely healthcare.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I always point out that the two of the most successful nations in the last half of the 19th century, or the 20th century, were Germany and Japan. After two wars, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they recovered. And why? Education, that they have huge respect for education. You should look at their systems and what they do. So they divided, if you're going to be an academic, you're going to have an academic career, study this way. If you're going to be a tradesman, businessman, go this way. And that's what we don't do in this country. It's like our education is sort of
we don't put enough value on the trades here in our country,
and
where
we don't
should.
pay teachers enough.
Right.
Yes.
We've talked about that before. That's one of the biggest things out there. Teachers are one of the most underpaid, careers or professions out there today. Germany has it right. You get out of school and you're either going on the university track, or you're going on the hands-on
Career
track, the
tech,
career
yeah.
tech track. So, and I like that. We forget about that.
And financial literacy. They don't teach that in schools. They don't teach you how to manage a bank account, how to, develop strategy in terms of budgeting and things like that. And that's why businesses are failing, because people don't
But
know.
people are failing. They aren't able to manage themselves, or
And education can help lead to better healthcare, because now we have more educated people
Right.
here. Now they're
Yep.
wanting to help
Right.
what's going wrong in this country.
Absolutely. Well, people,
Yeah. We made it.
Oh, you can have your show back now. We're done.
All right, we're done.
All
yeah.
right.
Breakfast.
I want to thank you for making this
Thank you for having us.
fabulous
This was fun.
show.
Thank you so much.
I love the humor, I love the interaction, and fantastic. And I hope with all of this, we have provided not only a bit of entertainment, but also information. I mean, people need to know things that I don't know, we can explain them any better, but we try. And thank you, Britt.
Thank
for
you, Fernando.
coming with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
You should come on my show more often.
You should invite me more often.
Shantell Brown and Julie Viera, thank you very much, and good luck with your Viera Vida show.
Thanks.
You show us when?
Our show's on Tuesdays
At
at
2?
2 and Saturdays at 10 a.m.
Okay, so listen to that, Viera Vida.
You hear how he didn't invite us back to his show more
Oh,
often?
That's all right. You hear he didn't give my show
Wow.
a shout out.
Wow. I was
gonna ask
My
you
show
what
is like Wednesdays and Fridays at 2, but that's okay.
I was just going to ask you.
I was going to ask you
We're
off
out of
air,
time. We're out of time.
No, when is your show on?
My show is on Wednesdays and Fridays at 2.
So now shut up. So, anyway, thank you very much for being with us. Agradecemos su sintonía en el día de hoy. Se despide Fernando Mendez, Dylan al tablero y aquí mis visitantes del día de hoy. Hasta la próxima.
Bye. Oh, this was a
That was
fun one,
good.
man. That was
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.